Hi, my name is Lindsay Barkley. I'm a 5th grade ELA and reading teacher. I decided to focus my lesson on writing and health standards as well as listening and speaking standards. This focus included students conducting a short research project, finding multiple sources throughout investigation to complete a 5-paragraph essay, an online storybook, and a presentation to a group of their peers. I used several tools throughout this lesson. I'm going to show you how 3 of them were used in my class. Office 365 is a tool that is used across our entire school district. Our students are very familiar with it. Students use Office 365 for online word processing. This helps them access their work from school and home without having to take the document and put it on a flash drive. Students submit work to myself and to their peers for editing and feedback. As you can see here, this is a document one of my students typed up, and you can see my feedback on the right-hand side in order to help the student reflect on their writing and correct anything as needed. StoryJumper is the online storybook maker we used for students to create their online communicable disease storybook. The teacher can create an account for students to access to create their own online storybooks. Students created a storybook based off the information they found while researching. They turned this into an engaging way to present their information. After students choose which book type they would like, they can add anything from text to props to scenes, and they can add as many pages as they would like. Students printed out a copy of their storybook once it was finalized. We did this just in case technology didn't work. We had a backup for students to present their material. Read, Write, Think Note-Taker is an interactive online note-taking tool. This was really helpful to my students who have trouble with handwriting. My students were able to take notes while they were accessing the information at the same time. This tool helps students analyze and evaluate the information they found to determine if it needed to be added to their essay. During my lesson, I had my co-teacher and student teacher helping. We all worked individually with students who were struggling. I provided a due date checklist for all of my students, however, only my struggling students had to follow it. Higher students I let take more of a lead with their learning, and they were able to move at their own pace. I held student conferences to ensure everyone was working toward their final product. Most of the work was completed in school, but for any of my students who did not have computer and/or internet access at home, I allowed them to work on their project during morning work and lunch and learns. I used Padlet to provide a formative assessment of students' knowledge of communicable diseases before and after the project took place. I also provided each student with the rubric you see here and discussed the criteria with all of them so they knew exactly what was expected of them. I included aspects for the writing piece, the storybook, and the presentation. We have a good bit of technology available in our school for us to use, but before I could implement my lesson, I had to make sure I could use some of that technology for 2 to 3 weeks straight within my ELA class. I had information on each communicable disease printed out just in case technology failed. Students also saved their Office 365 documents into Word under their student number just in case Office 365 was malfunctioning. Using an old-fashioned sticky note parking lot on my board was my backup if Padlet did not work. I also had students print out a copy of their storybook they made on StoryJumper just in case our internet, Promethean board, or the StoryJumper website was not working at the time of presentations. The only troubleshooting I had to do during this lesson were to send my students to the media center to use the desktops for research because some of the laptops were not working properly. Most of the time, our technology works really well. My students were able to adapt quickly to StoryJumper and the online note-taking tool. Next time, I will give the online note-taking tool as an option because some of my students preferred to write their notes out. Overall, I enjoyed this lesson and there were only minor aspects that I would tweak for next time.